If you had a $5 opportunity to buy a muffin, a $1 opportunity to buy a muffin, and a free opportunity to buy a muffin, you're going to choose the one in the middle, most likely. Some seller data points that we need to know. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to call the owner of this property, okay? And here are some of the data points that I'm going to be asking her. Number one, why are you selling? Is it a job relocation? Do you have a desire to get into a smaller or a larger house? Is there a live event that's taking place? Are you getting married? Do you have another child? Is the family growing? Did you lose a spouse? Are you getting divorced? Or is there another reason? Or is there retirement? You know, a lot of people at retirement are selling the bigger home, downgrading to get into something smaller where you've got less property tax, less insurance, less maintenance. And I completely get it. I'll tell you this, guys, the minute my kids are out of the house, we're moving into like a condo or something so that we don't have to spend time on doing exterior landscaping and all of those things, because those things consume a lot of time. My parents are, I think my dad is turning 80, 79 or 80 this year. My mom is 3 years younger, and they live on 5 acres. Now, I grew up on the property that they live on. They've been there almost 40 years now. No, they've been there almost 50 years. Wow. And they got fruit trees. They got a massive garden. They got a big barn. They got 2 acres of grass that has to be mowed. I mean, I said to my dad, I'm like, Dad, is this really how you want to spend your retirement years, is just taking care of this property? Or do you want to like go do something else? So I'm trying to convince them, sell the big 5-acre parcel. Let's move you in. I got a beautiful duplex I can stick you in. You don't have to do any yard maintenance, and you can, you know, go on walks and take mom to dinner and not be out here working your tail off all day long. So these are some of the reasons that people might be selling. Now, the other question I'm going to ask is, what are their plans with the proceeds of the sale? This will let you know how much wiggle room you have to ask for seller financing. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me, I apologize. Hopefully I didn't blow out anybody's eardrums. What are their plans with the proceeds of the sale? Now, a lot of people struggle to ask this question because they grew up in a household like I did, where there's a couple of things you can never ask a person. Okay, if it's a woman, you can never ask how old they are. Regardless of who they are, you can never ask them how much they weigh. You can never ask them how much money they make. And so we don't think we can ask this next question. Here's the next question. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if I purchase your property for $450,000 and I pay off the underlying loan that you have of $200,000, you're going to end up netting, after all of your expenses and fees, you're going to end up getting $225,000 in cash. So here's the question. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Well, I don't know how that's any of your business. Well, the reason I'm inquiring is because if you're going to take it and stick it in some money market account, you're probably going to end up getting like 1.5% to 2% interest, which means your 1.5% on $225,000 in cash, $225,000 at 1.2.015 is $3,375 a year. Now, what I'm going to do with your house, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you choose to sell it to me, is I'm going to go in, fix it up, clean it up, and possibly sell it, possibly rent it out. I don't know. But I'm going to have to go out and get another mortgage. And on that other mortgage, I'm going to be paying an interest rate of 8 or 9 or 10 or even 12%. I'd rather pay you every month than some company up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So would you consider carrying? And if you would, I will give you a 400% increase over what you can get in a money market account, and I will pay you 6%. Now, notice the order of events. I will give you a 400% increase on what you could get in a money market account. Would you like to get a 400% increase on your money, on the income that your cash is producing? I'll give you 6. So instead of $3,375 a year, your $225,000 is going to produce $13,500 a year. And I will send you a check every single month for $1,125. And you can use that check to pay your car payment, your insurance payments, your Medicare payments, whatever you need. But don't you think that would be a better use of funds than just taking it in cash and sending it and shoving it into a money market account? Not to mention that if you take it in cash, you're going to have to pay taxes on the whole $225,000. If you will carry the financing for me, you're only going to pay taxes on the income that you earn as I pay it to you monthly. So do you want to pay tax on $1,125 a month, or do you want to pay tax on $225,000 to the tune of 30%? What do you think would be better? Oh, wow, I never thought about it like that. I know, most people don't. And that's why, guys, as a real estate professional, it is our job to ask our clients the questions that are going to give us the answers so that we can help them structure the best strategy for them. You know, I've been training and dealing with investors for 25 years. I've been investing personally for 28 years. And it's not about us. Okay? One of the best ways to get deals under your belt and to get sellers to sell to you and want to do business with you is to figure out what they want and then structure deals that are in their best interest that you can still make a profit. So it's not about me stealing your home so I can get rich. No, it's about you and I working together to come up with the best solution that's going to get your needs met, what it is you need for you and your family, and leave me enough margin that I can still make a small profit on the deal because I am a for-profit company. It's how I pay my employees. It's how I put food on the table for myself and for my family. And so I do need to make some money on this transaction. But please understand, I'm not trying to get rich on your home. I'm just trying to make a small profit so I can keep the wheels of commerce in motion, okay? That's how we communicate and interact with sellers. So let's go back to our slide here. Seller data points you need to know. Third question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is your idea of value? Okay, what do you think the property is worth? Now, there's a strategy called anchoring. Now, in our book bundle yesterday, I gave you guys Predictably Irrational as the book. Dan Ariely is the author. Now, Dan talks about a concept called anchoring. Anchoring is where if you want to negotiate a lower price, the first number that's raised needs to be a low number. If you want to get a high price, the number that needs to be raised is a high number. So you've got to do this very quickly. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm curious to know what you believe the property is worth, because as I'm looking at the debt stack here, I'm showing that the county assessor is saying that the value of your property is right now sitting at the tax assessed value is sitting at $267,200, which admittedly I think is a little high. But if we remove the land value at 70, looks like market value on just the structure sitting around $197,200. So what number were you thinking of? Now, you guys saw the Zillow overlay, right? And the homeowner has seen the Zillow overlay because Zillow is the gospel of value to the uneducated consumer who's not a real estate professional, okay? So people go to Zillow and they look at the Zestimate of their house and they just assume that that's the value. So when the homeowner goes and looks at the value of her house on Zillow, she's going to say, oh, well, Zillow says the value is $298,400. So if you ask the seller, hey, what is your idea of value? They're going to say it's $298,400. But if I say, hey, what do you think the value of your home is, considering that the tax assessor says value is around $197,000, and based on the exterior condition, I'm seeing about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of work. What do you think the value is near $150,000? Now, what we've done here is we've anchored, okay? So in their mind, the anchor is the Zestimate. In my mind, it's the tax assessed value less rehab. So somewhere the deal is somewhere in the middle. That's where we're going to end up on our negotiation. So what is their idea of value? And then fourthly, are they willing to negotiate? See if the seller is open to discussion on price or terms because sometimes terms are better. Now, in Predictably Irrational, there's this concept of choice. Now, the author is a professor at MIT, which is some of the smartest people in the planet go to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and they're the smartest kids out there. So if you want to be a lawyer, you go to Harvard. If you want to be a big tech person, you go to MIT. So Dan is an instructor at MIT, and he does experiments on his students. And one day he put out muffins. And he put $1 on the muffins, and then he tracked how many muffins did he sell. The next day he put muffins out for $5, and he tracked how many muffins did he sell. And then the third day he put out free on the muffins to see how many muffins he could give away. Now, we're live, this is interactive, so guys, I want to get everybody's feedback. Here's the question I want you to answer for me. Which day did they move the most muffins? Was it the free muffin day, was it the $1 muffin day, or was it the $5 muffin day? On what day do you believe that they moved the most muffins? Go ahead and give me your answer. Free, $1, $5. What day did they move the most muffins? What are they telling us? What are their responses?
Give it a second.
Let's see, I've got a, Christina says $5.
Christina says $5 muffins.
Isaiah says the dollar. Dexter says the $5.
$1, $5,
Says the
dollar.
Majority of people are coming through as $1.
Majority of people are coming through as $1. Okay. Well, the dollars have it. Now, most people think that you're going to move the most muffins on the free day. Nope. You're not going to move muffins on a free day because everybody assumes that there's something wrong with it. I remember my wife and I were having a garage sale years ago, and I had this big old TV. It still worked. It was fine. I just wanted somebody to haul it off so I didn't have to deal with it. And so I put it out in front of the house and I put a free sign on it, and I couldn't move the thing. And so using Dan Ariely's strategies, I put $250 and I crossed it out and I wrote $50 yours right now. 250 to 50. So what I did is I anchored and I said, hey, this is normally worth 250 and I should ask 250 for it, but you can have it right now for 50 bucks. Within moments of making that change from free to 250 crossed out $50, I had a knock on my door. Here's the 50 bucks. Guy hauls off the TV. So this is the concept of anchoring choices. All right. So if you had a $5 opportunity to buy a muffin, a $1 opportunity to buy a muffin, and a free opportunity to buy a muffin, you're going to choose the one in the middle most likely.